I was reading your bio on your MySpace, and you mentioned Germany.
Yeah.
Now, why did you go to Germany?
Well, initially we'd sort of made some contacts with some other Australian musicians that we knew who had been working and living over there. And they just kind of popped this idea in my head to say, look, you should just come to Germany. And so then I just started investigating it, and the more I kind of investigated, the more I found that just culturally they were a lot more open to new music than say an audience is in Australia. And no offence to Australia in that, it's just a cultural thing. In Australia we have this thing where you see a poster of someone you've never heard of before and you go, oh, never heard of them. And it doesn't make you go out and see them. But in Germany they actually come out and see you if they haven't heard of you, because it's like, oh, something new, something different, I'll go and hear them. And I discovered this sort of once I'd been there a couple of times, that Germany is the third largest music market in the world. And if you just look at the concentration of people per landmass too, you know, you're not having to travel as far. And so touring, although at an independent level, you're not making money necessarily, you're not losing it, whereas in Australia to tour as an independent artist you pretty much lose money.
You have to pay your own way.
And you spend however long paying it back, you know, paying your credit cards back or paying off a loan. That's just what you have to do if you want to live in Australia and be a musician. So going to Germany was a nice little breath of fresh air from that point of view, that, you know, we could travel sort of 100 kilometres and there'd be a brand new 500-seat theatre that would fill with people to come and see me. And it's like, wow. That doesn't happen in Australia.
That's great.
So, yeah.
As a radio station, we do community service announcements, and we did one a few months ago for you. You were teaching songwriting and guitar and that sort of stuff. Yeah. Up in the hills somewhere.
Yep.
Are you still doing that?
I am indeed. So,
is that a new venture, or have you done that for a while?
Well, I've done teaching on and off over the years privately, and I've also done lots of seminars and things when I've been overseas, run, you know, songwriting seminars or basic theory classes, that kind of thing for people. So I've got that kind of teaching background. And I hadn't done any teaching for a while, and I just felt like getting back into it again. It helps keep my theory sharp too, because I've actually got to remember what it is that I'm trying to teach the students. What's that thing called again? Oh, yeah, it's a crotchet or a quaver or...
So what was your degree in?
It was a degree in music and English.
Oh, okay. So you studied English literature as well?
Yeah, I didn't... I tended to not do as much of the... like really extreme literature. I kind of picked a few history periods, and when I was at high school, I didn't really do English literature. I just did the straight English, and then sort of ventured into a couple of different sort of areas like poetry and a few things like that at university. But I didn't study like meter and things like that in poetry. It was more just specific themes or periods in time, which were interesting because I studied things like not Civil War, like the 1960s sort of black movement in America, and reading sort of books by authors of that genre, and they kind of awakened things to like social justice issues and that for me, which was interesting. So
fantastic. Because your lyrics are quite interesting. So.
Yeah, well, I'd definitely say my default mode is not soppy love songs. It's not something that I write very easily. So I think I just always wanted to look at other perspectives that maybe don't get written about in songs as much. And maybe sometimes that means people don't necessarily understand what I'm trying to say, but I'll keep working on it and maybe one day they will. No,
I like social commentary in music. we've got time for maybe one more song.
Yeah. Okay.
So, what would you like to play for us this time?
I think I'll do one called Wondering If. I don't know, there's just certain people sometimes in my life where I kind of think, gee, I hope I never run into them again. And
thanks, Kaz. I haven't seen you for 10 years. Yeah.
This is kind of one of those songs of what would you do if you saw this person. So, this one's called Wondering If. Sworn that I saw you today in the window of a cafe, and the wind blew cold my way. I could have sworn that I wouldn't behave the way I did. Changed. You have changed.
people want to check out on the web,
yes,
apart from the myspace.com/Carolyn Oates,
they can go to carolynoates.com and you can kind of catch all the links to all the different things that I'm doing from there, so they can sort of head over there and have